everybody. How are you? So today we're going to make a mountain. Why do you think we're going to make a mountain? Well, Shavuot is coming up. And on Shavuot, Hashem gave the Jewish people the Torah on Har Sinai. So we're going to make Har Sinai. Now the first thing you need to make this mountain is a lot of little pieces of paper. Now I happen to have this handy dandy paper shredder here. If you don't have a paper shredder, that's totally okay. You don't have to use a paper shredder. You can just use like scissors or your hands and rip up the papers into small pieces. Now I went into the recycling bin and I took out a bunch of pieces of paper that we were just gonna throw out anyway. And I can put it in the shredder and it cuts it into little pieces for me. So I'm gonna do that with a bunch of pieces of paper, okay? And if you don't have a shredder, you just use scissors and you could snip, 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 and cut up the paper into little bits. Now you can see how I have this lovely bowl full of paper shreds that I use the shredder to make. Again, you don't have a shredder, you just cut it up into little pieces. Now I'm gonna take a cup of hot water, not hot, just warm. See, I can put my finger in it, it's not too hot. I'm gonna pour it over the paper. I wanna cover the paper in the water and I'm gonna let it soak for about an hour or so. I wanna make sure that the paper gets nice and wet. So I'm gonna let that paper soak for about an hour or so. And then we'll come back, okay? So my paper's been soaking for about an hour now, a little more. And you can see it's just falling apart into pulp. It's just like coming apart into little pieces. So now if you have a food processor, whatever you have, you can use that. I have this fancy schmancy emulsion blender that will see it has a little blade and it should chop it up into little pieces. So I push it in and I chop it up. Now, it squirted me. Now if you have a blender or an electric mixer you can use that too. So I'm gonna blend it up and chop up my paper. Look at this stuff, it's all goopy. My paper is now all nice and chopped up. So now the next thing I wanna do is get some of that excess water out. So I'm gonna go get a dish towel. So here's my dish towel. I'm gonna lay it out on my table counter, dump my paper goop onto my dish towel. There we go. My lovely paper goop. Look at that stuff. I'm gonna pick it up over the bowl and let's squeeze out that water. Look at all that water that's coming out of there. All right. I'm gonna go dump this in the sink and I'll be right back. All right, let's see what it looks like now. Comes right out, it barely made a mess. Now I have this lovely paper mulch here. Now you have a couple choices at this part. You can either use glue or flour in order to make it into sticky clay. Now, I don't really have enough glue, so I'm gonna use flour. I'm using oat flour because I'm allergic to regular flour. And I'm gonna start just mixing it in. I wanna make it nice and sticky into like a clay mixture. And if you need to add some water too, even though you squeeze some of that water out to make it all stick together, you can do that. All right, here's my sticky dough ball of paper clay. Now it's time to get work on Har Sinai. All right, everybody, now it's time to get to work on Har Sinai. So to do that, I cut out this piece of cardboard for my base. It's a nice strong base so it doesn't break. Now I'm gonna take some aluminum foil and shape it into Har Sinai. Now we all know that Har Sinai was not the biggest mountain or the widest mountain. So I make Har Sinai how I want it to look. Now I'm gonna take some tape. I'm just gonna cover the foil with the tape and hold it onto my cardboard. It's just gonna help hold it down. Important note, guys, make sure your work area is clear before you start working. Now I'm just gonna hold it down. It also gives a nice flat surface for my clay to cover it. I'm using the scissors to just help me with the tape, but you can probably rip it too. So I covered it in tape, and now my Har Sinai is stuck to my board pretty well. So for the next step, I'm going to use my clay ball. Now, it is definitely just fun to play with by itself. So if before you make Har Sinai, you just want to sit there and play with your new clay, I highly encourage that. But now I'm going to make my Har Sinai. I'm going to take some of my clay and I'm going to stick it on the outside of my foil. I can use some water, dip my fingers in, make it stick. And I'm just going to do that and cover the whole mountain in my paper clay goop. Oh man, this stuff is so cool, guys. Wait till you feel how it feels on your fingers. You're going to love it. Okay, so now my Har Sinai is done for today. Because now I have to wait all night for my beautiful paper clay Har Sinai to dry so that I can paint it. So I'm going to go leave it out to dry all night long. So I'll see you tomorrow and we'll take a look at what it looks like then. Have a good night. Good morning, everybody. So it's been about a day. This is mostly dry. It's not completely dry, but that's okay. I'm going to paint it green like Har Sinai. And then after I paint it green, I'm going to paint flowers on it. So here we go. So here's my mountain, and I have some green paint. I cannot for the life of me find my paintbrushes, so I'm going to use a sponge. And I'm going to take some green paint. I'm going to cover Har Sinai in green paint. And then I'm going to wait for that to dry. All right, so now my Har Sinai is all green, and I can go paint flowers on it. Because Hashem chose Har Sinai for being so humble and then covered in flowers to make Har Sinai beautiful. So I'm going to go get paint to paint flowers. All right, so to paint my flowers, I'm going to take some other color paints, open them up. I'm running very low on paint, guys. And I'm going to use Q-tips to make my little flowers all over Har Sinai. So I'm going to take some red paint and make little flowers all over Har Sinai. All right, everyone, I finished my Har Sinai. See, Har Sinai is green, covered in beautiful grass and flowers, ready for Hashem to give the Jewish people the Torah. I can't wait to see your Har Sinais. All right, everybody, have fun. Bye.